If you have your Bibles, go ahead and turn to Luke 7. We have quite a few scriptures here to start off with. Luke 7, verses 36 through 50. I love this set of scripture. If you don't have your Bibles, it'll be on the screen. Also, I think there is some Bibles in the back of the pews if you want to grab one of those. It's also, the scriptures are written in your bulletin if you want to follow along that way. Luke 7, verse 36 through 50. And it says, "And one of the Pharisees desired him, that he would eat with him. And he went to the Pharisee's house, and he sat down to meat." You know, when you bring Jesus to a dinner table, it's always going to be messed up. "And behold, a woman in the city, which was a sinner, when she knew that Jesus sat at meat in the Pharisee's house, brought an alabaster box of ointment, and stood at his feet behind him, weeping, and began to wash his feet with tears, and did wipe them with the hairs of her head, and kiss his feet, and anoint them with the ointment. Now when the Pharisees which had bidden him saw it, he spake within himself, saying, This man, if he were a prophet, would have known who and what manner of woman this is that toucheth him, for she is a sinner. And Jesus answered him." Isn't it funny that you can think things and Jesus still knows what you're thinking? You don't even have to say it out loud. It says, "And Jesus answered and said unto him, Simon, I have somewhat to say unto thee. And he said, Master, say on. There was a certain creditor which had two debts, and the one owed 500 pence and the other 50. And when they had nothing to pay, he frankly forgave them both. Tell me, therefore, which of them will love him most? Simon answered and said, I suppose that he to whom he forgave most. And he said unto him, Thou hast rightly judged. And he turned to the woman and said unto Simon, Seest this, thou woman? I entered into thy house, and thou gavest me no water for my feet. But she hath washed my feet with tears, and wiped them with the hairs of her head. Thou gave me no kiss, but this woman, since the time I came in, has not ceased to kiss my feet. My head with oil thou didst not anoint, but this woman hath anointed my feet with ointment. Wherefore I say unto thee, her sins which are made are forgiven. For she loved much, but to whom little is forgiven, the same loveth little. And he said unto her, Thy sins are forgiven. And they that sat at meat with him began to say within themselves, Who is this that forgives sins also? And he said to the woman, Thy faith hath saved thee. Go in peace." This morning we continue our 2-week series called Created to Worship. And the word worship is defined by the Merriam-Webster Dictionary as an act of showing respect and love for God, especially by praying with other people who believe in the same God, or the excessive adoration for someone. You see, worship is about expressing your love to the one that you love. Expressing your love to the one that you love. Last week, God showed us the qualities of what true worship was. And they were, you must be obedient. You must be committed. You must be separated from the world. You must sacrifice, and you must secure. This morning, I want us to look at worship and our vision this year, which is passion. And I believe there is no better story in the Bible about worshiping with passion than this story. You see, before we get started, I want us to look at the characters. First, you have the Pharisee. You see, this Pharisee, his name is Simon. And because he was a Pharisee, he had the outward look of a good, upright, religious man who attempted to keep the laws of Moses. He tithed his income, he fasted regularly, he prayed at least 3 times a day, and never missed his attendance in the church. He was a guy that, when you thought about a religious person, you thought about Simon. He was one of those guys. He was one of those guys that did everything right. He looked the part of a Christian. Have you ever just saw somebody and said, "Oh man, they're Christian," right? You see into what they're dressed like, or the first thing that comes to your mind is they're a Christian. Now, they might not be a Christian, but because of the way they're dressed or what they do, you think they are a Christian. And that's the way Simon was. When people saw him, they thought, man, this guy is a man of God. This guy is a Christian. He was a decent man who was respected as a religious leader in the community. With that being said, his relationship with Jesus would be described as far off. Do you realize that you can do all the good deeds in the world, but you got to have a relationship with Jesus? Amen. Amen. You can come to church every time the is our second home. We come here so much, he thinks this is, sometimes he'll play in here and that kind of stuff. And I have to tell him, this is the house of God. He says, yeah, but we're here all the time too. And he thinks Jesus lives right behind that little green glass right there. I don't know why, but he thinks he lives back there. And so we make sure we're quiet when we're up there because Jesus is asleep behind the green glass. I don't understand it, but that's where we are. We have all these things. He thinks Jesus is here, but he realizes he comes here every week and he tries to do right. I've been teaching him to give his offering, and I've been teaching him to pray, and we've been reading the Bible. But you realize we can teach all that stuff all day long, but if he doesn't have a relationship with God, he's far from Christ. Amen. Some of you have been coming for years. Some people go to church they've been coming for 50, 60 years, but they don't have a relationship with Christ. Do you realize if you don't have that relationship with Christ, then when you get to the gates, he'll say, depart from me, I never knew you.
That's right.
Amen. Be quiet today. You see, we got to get to that point that it's not about everything we look. You see, we talked about it a couple of Wednesday nights ago, that true repentance leads to good works. That means, but first you got to repent and turn from your wicked ways. And you have to give your life to Jesus. And when you give your life to Jesus, then it causes you to tithe. It causes you to come to church. It causes you to pray. It causes everything in your life. But listen, church, I want you to realize, if you don't have a relationship with Jesus Christ, no good deed will get you into heaven. You want to know why? Amen. I love it. I love playing the drums not because I can play, because I can't play. There's a lot more people better than me. But I love playing the drums because I get to look out at you. And I know that sounds weird, right? And don't let it mess you up. But I like looking out because people are worshiping, and I love watching people worship. Because listen, I'll never forget. There's one time I love my wife to death, and we were at a seminar one time, or a service one time. And she began to just be in the Spirit of God to the point where it was just amazing. And I had to step back and just watch because I seen the glory of God. And I'll never forget this pastor came down and he was prophesying over people, and it was amazing. If you never see it, it was just amazing the gift that God has given this man, because he began to prophesy over all these people, and things began to come out that were true, that was really true. But they looked at him, and as he began to prophesy to my wife, he said, I can't even talk to you, I can't even get near you, because the presence of God is so around you. Wouldn't it be great if every time we step into the presence of God that people can't even come near us because they feel the presence of God so on us, that is taking over our lives, that is glowing outside of us? I think Davo Swinney says, and I hate to use this because it was so different, but he says, you need to be, the light inside of you should shine brighter than the light that shines on you. You know what? That's so much true as a Christian. Our light on the inside should shine brighter than any title that we have, than anything that we should look like, than anything that we should do. You know what, church? It doesn't matter if you're this or that, or a pastor or Sunday school teacher. You know what matters? Is your relationship with God. You see, these Pharisees, they had this in their lives. They knew the law. They knew the Bible. Do you know the devil knows the Bible? The devil can quote the Bible. He can come straight out and tell you all these things. The devil can look the part of a Christian. A lot of times the devil's sitting in here right now, and he's trying to distract you from what God is trying to do in your life. He's sitting there trying to bring any kind of distraction, any kind of thought, any kind of pain. I was talking to Sister Tanya before church, and I told her, I said, it's amazing because there's some Sundays I wake up and I don't want to preach. What? That makes you feel bad, doesn't it? Because the devil is on me so bad, he tries to knock me out. But you know what? I told her, I love it because the Bible says, just keep going. Just keep showing up. And I begin to pray, and I begin to ask God to move in my life. And you know, in those times when I say, devil, you're not going to have a hold of me, that's when he moves the most inside of me. You see, the devil will try to do anything he possibly can. But if you don't have a relationship with God, you'll never see the gates of heaven. You'll never be blessed like God wants to bless you. The power that God wants to give you. And this Pharisee had this attitude that, hey, Jesus is here, but it doesn't really matter. As a matter of fact, when he walked in, he didn't even wash Jesus' feet. He didn't even greet him with a kiss. He didn't anoint his head of oil, which was something that they did for the high chief priest or the Jesus. We've got Christians that call themselves Christians that can't be Jesus freaks. And I don't understand why. Amen. I don't understand why we can't show our friends that we love Jesus. Amen. I don't understand why we can't worship not only in the building but outside the building. Amen. I don't understand why. Listen, I told you I love my wife. Amen. I'm going to let everybody know I love my wife. Amen. She puts up a lie. She married me. Amen. Amen. I said something a while ago, and me and Sister Evelyn laughed, and I said, well, you the one that married me. Amen. Look at it. I love her to death, and I'm going to let everybody know that she's my wife. I'm going to let everybody know that. But you know what? It's sad that we can put our wives on a pedestal, but we can't put Jesus on a pedestal. We can put our kids, our job, our hobbies on a pedestal so high, but we can't worship the King. We can't even respect Him when we come into His house. We can't even wash His feet, which means we can't serve Him. We can't anoint Him and say that He's the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. We can't even give Him the right mind to get down and kiss His feet because He is the great I am. We say we're Christians, church, but do you have a relationship with God? Then you have the prostitute. The lady that came to the door. The thing about it is I love it because the Bible don't even say her name. It said a woman came through the door. She came. She's unnamed. She was known in the town for her sin. When she entered the room, eyebrows were raised and voices were lowered to whispers. And you could tell that Simon was aware of nothing but that woman from the moment she had entered the room. Some of you, when you come into church, you feel the same exact way. You feel like, hey, man, everybody's looking at me. Everybody's whispering. Everybody's saying what I've done. But you know what? I love what this lady did. She needed something and nothing was going to stop her. Have you ever gotten to that point? That you just needed something and nothing was going to stop you? I don't care about what people say about me. I'm going to step into the presence of God. I don't care about my past. I'm going to step into the presence of God. I don't care about what I wear. I'm going to step into the presence of God. Because I realize when I get into that presence of God, all that matters is that relationship with Him. It said that she come in the door and everybody was staring at her. And when she walked in the door, she had this great idea. She had this expensive perfume that she was going to anoint Jesus' feet with. But when she walked into the room, when she walked into the presence of God, she began to cry so much that her tears began to wash His feet. So she knelt down and took her hair and began to wash His feet with her hair and her tears. And then she took the perfume and began to pour it on His feet. Now this ain't any kind of perfume. This woman, this probably was her life savings in perfume. She took it and poured it out for Jesus. We said last week that to worship is to sacrifice. Some of us need to sacrifice some stuff. She sacrificed everything. She walked through a door with a bunch of people that called her names, that told her that she shouldn't be there. But she walked through a door realizing no matter what they say, no matter what they do, I'm going to worship Jesus. And you know what's so funny about it? She was full of sin. What? See, a lot of people miss that part. You see, she worshiped before she was saved. Amen. You're trying to keep people out of the house of God, you better watch it. Amen. They worship Him before they even say it. Some of us tear them down so much they forget about their worship. Amen. Do you realize it takes a sacrifice to come here every Sunday morning? Amen. Some of y'all got some better things to do. Some of you got something on the stove right now cooking up. Some of you got a football game to watch. Amen. Some of you got a basketball game to watch. Some of you want to go hunting. Some of you want to go all this other stuff. It took you a sacrifice to get here this morning. So don't let the devil or anybody stop you from your worship. Don't let you, listen, it doesn't matter what kind of life you live before you come in the door, you come in and worship. worship God, because I want to let you know, and we're going to get to this point here in a second. Do you know your love for God is what brings you to a place where you realize you need God?
That's right. Amen. Amen.
She would come in the door and she began to be all upset. She began to cry. She began to weep. She began to wash his feet. Everybody was condemning her. Everybody was upset. They even thought if he knew who she was, they wouldn't let her in. If he knew who she was, he wouldn't let her touch her feet. But Jesus, who knows everything, who knows the beginning and the end, who is the Alpha and the Omega, the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords, the one that died for you and I, knew who she was and opened the door and said, come on in, because I am here. I am here to be your Savior. I'm here to be your King. I'm here to be your Father. Just come on in the door. She began to sit there. This morning, which one of the two are you? Are you the Pharisee that's cool, calm, and collected? You've got it pretty much together spiritually, so you don't really need what Jesus is offering, namely forgiveness of sins. Are you like Simon, or are you like the woman? Do you see that without Jesus? You'll be hopeless. Without Jesus, you'll be lost. Like her, are you at a liberty to express your deep feelings of love and gratitude for a Savior, in spite of what people might think? Are you able to worship with passion? Are you able to worship with passion? You see, I realized Jesus told us what this means about worshiping with passion in Luke 7:41 through 43. He gives us 3 simple truths about passionate worship. The first truth is this: to worship with passion, you must realize you're at a great debt. You're at a great debt. You think your house payment is a big debt. Do you realize what God has done for you? God has already paid the debt for you. Amen. He's already paid that debt for you. You see, both the Pharisee and the sinful woman had debt. Debt is something owed, and the Pharisee thinks that the sinful woman has the greater debt. But in God's sight, the woman was not necessarily the greater sin. Yes, outwardly, she had an issue. But God does not only look at the outward sin, He looks at your heart. Some of us got it all together. We dress all nice. Amen. We got some new blue jeans on. Amen. Got them last night. Put a jacket on. Amen. Carry a hanky around. Because you know, if you're a true Christian, you got a hanky. Might spit a little bit. We got it all together on the outside, but some of us, yeah, we got to get it on the outside, but where's your heart at? Where's your heart at? See, the sinful woman, she looks sinful. But you know what? Her heart was chasing Jesus. Hey, I wish some people would get this morning. Sometimes your outside might not be chasing Jesus, but your heart knows it needs a touch from Jesus. Sometimes your actions might say you're chasing Jesus, but your heart's saying, I'm running away from Jesus. Do you realize your debt that needs to be paid? Listen, if you're drowning at 50 feet or you're drowning at 500 feet, you know what? You're still drowning. Some of you will get that on the way home. Say it again. If you're drowning at 50 feet and you're drowning at 100 feet, you're still drowning. That means you still need help. You know what? Just because you look good on the outside, you still need help on the inside. Just because you look bad on the outside, that means you need help on the inside. Church, you got to realize that there's a debt that's been paid. And when you realize that there's a debt that's been paid, you'll start worshiping God with passion. You see, Romans 3:23 says this: for all have sinned and come short of the glory of God. Romans 3:10 says this: as it is written, there is none righteous, no, not one. Listen, church, we all have issues. We all have a debt that's been paid. And church, because of that, we need to realize that Jesus Christ paid our debt. The second point that Jesus brings out is that to worship with passion, cannot truly worship until you realize that the debt that's been paid is something that you can't do. Amen. Some of you, my community group that was here Sunday night, I had jury duty last week, and I forgot to turn the paper in, and they told me I was going to get arrested. and I was scared. I didn't sleep none Sunday night. You can ask my wife. I was up early. I was pacing in my house until I went there. And I went to the woman. I said, here it is, now or never. And I said, ma'am, this is my first time I'm ever here. I look like a little kid in kindergarten. I said, here's my paper. And she said, oh, you're okay. Oh, praise Jesus. I don't even know who that woman's name was, but I almost gave her a hug right there. Because I realized it wasn't a debt that I could pay, but she took it away from me, amen. Listen, church, do you realize that God is the only one that can take away your sin? That God is the only one that died on the cross for you? And when somebody pays a debt like that, something that you had no control over, but He had all control over, that He had all to do with it, not you to do with it, you'll start worshiping and praising Him. Because you have a love in your heart. Listen, we sang a song long ago that says, how He loves us. Do you realize not how we love Him, but how He loves us? In our midst, in our deepest valleys, in our times of roughness, in our times of sinful nature, in our times when we look bad, on the times that we look good and still have a sinful heart, He still loves us. How He loves. Listen, when we sing that song, you should be ready to shout the glory, because it don't matter what condition you're in, He loves us. He gave His life for us. He gave His Son for us so that we can have everlasting life. Amen. Do you realize? Listen, I know we got a lot of sickness going on. I told my wife I can't believe all the sickness going on. But I read that scripture that says, by my stripes, amen, you shall be healed. Not if you do this or do that. He said, no, by my stripes, amen, you shall be healed. Every stripe He took a stripe for that tumor that's in Sister Faith's brain. He took a stripe for your diabetes. He took a stripe for your cancer. He took a stripe for your surgery. He took a stripe for your depression. He took a stripe for your anxiety. By His stripes, you shall be healed. You should be able to worship with passion because He has paid a debt that you don't have to pay. Listen, you can't pay that debt. No matter how much money you have, you can't pay it. No, how much good you do, you can't pay it. Only Jesus can. Only Jesus can. Only Jesus did it. See, church, we've got to realize we must worship with passion because we realize that we have a debt and we're unable to repay our debt to the one that is in control. But I love this next part because the third point that Jesus brings us out is that to worship with passion, we must truly trust in His grace to forgive our unpayable debt of sin. Look at Luke 7:42. Throw that out there for me. And when they had nothing to pay. Look at that. When they had nothing to pay, He frankly forgave them both. When they had nothing to pay, by His grace, He forgave them. Do you know that God looks down at you and no matter what sin you've done, by His grace, by His grace, He paid a debt that you could never pay. He looked at the two people and said, listen, I know you ain't got no money. Wouldn't that be great? You walk up somewhere and you got to pay a bill and they say, I know you ain't got no money. Amen. But your debt's been paid. Not because of who you are, because I love you so much. By grace. By grace. By grace. forgives you. The Bible tells us that he forgave them both. You see, they did not have to pay it off. They did not have to work it off. But instead, he, God, Jesus, forgave them. Not because of what they have done, but because of who he was. Jesus tells us in verse 50 that the simple woman's faith had saved her. Not her worship, not her love for God, but her faith had saved her. Because she was brought to him through grace, and through her faith she had been saved. Listen, this woman, yes, she loved God. She loved him. She came into his presence. She came down to him. But God did not save her because she worshiped him. He saved her because he had grace for her. And by her faith, she shall be saved. And church, I'm here to tell you this morning, if you would just realize this, no matter what you've done, no matter how well you've done it, by his grace you shall be saved. By his grace you shall be saved. If you just believe in him. John 3:16, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believes, not whosoever does this, not whosoever does that, but whosoever believes shall not perish, but have everlasting life. Church, by his grace you shall be saved. No matter what you've done. No matter what you've done. He forgives you. Great thing about it, he don't even just forgive the sinful lady. He forgives the Pharisee. He don't only forgive the one that worshiped with passion, but he forgives the one that acted like he had passion. Listen, church. God, if we're ever going to worship with passion, we've got to realize that there was a debt that was being paid for us, that we couldn't pay for it ourselves. But by his grace, he paid it for us. He paid it for us. When I got saved, I can't tell you what happened in my life. All I know is I was running from God. I was being rebellious. I wish I had a great testimony. I wish I could tell you I was on drugs and alcoholic and in the bars and all this kind of stuff, but I wasn't none of that. I was raised up in the church. My mom and dad, my grandfather was a pastor. My mom and dad took me to church every single week. As a matter of fact, my mom ran a daycare in church, and so I was there not just on Sundays, I was there Monday through Friday. From 7 o'clock in the morning till about 7 o'clock at night. I was there all the time. I knew about God. I knew all these things. I looked the part of a Christian. I did good things. I actually got in trouble for not going to the parties. Because people thought I wasn't going to have friends anymore. But I wouldn't go because I knew what was happening at those places. I knew I didn't want to go down that route. But that night, I came to church looking the part. But I had to give my life to God. And when I gave my life to God, it hit me like it never hit me before. It didn't matter how good I tried to be. But I need to let God work through me. I need to let God restore passion in me for him. I told you last week we were created to worship. We were created to give love and honor to him and bring him up. But listen, church, if you don't give your life to him, it's hard to have that passion in your life. Some of you right now have a passion for all kinds of things in your life. But church, I'm asking you to have a passion to worship. A passion to say, God, I can't do this on my own. God, I can't. I told you the story last week, and I don't mind telling you again. It's my favorite story in the Bible. Jesus goes into the garden. He gets down on his knees. The Bible says that he was under so much pressure that he was basically crying blood. Blood was pouring off his head. Tears were pouring out. And as he began to sit there, he began to say, God, if you will take this cup from me, God, take it away. But then that passion, that move of God inside of him, he began to say, not my will, but thy she broke it open and began to anoint him. Church, that's a worship inside of her that she never saw before. And it was great and it was awesome. But the greatest thing that happened that day is through her faith, by the grace of God, she was saved. She was saved. But she realized it's not about what I do. It's about who you are. I love the song that they sung a while ago. Your breath in my lungs. So I pour out my praise. Not my breath. Man, God is laying on, I think we're going to do a whole series on what entrusted entitlement means. Some of us think we're entitled to breathe. So we're entitled to wear the clothes that we got. We're entitled to that car. I worked hard for that car. Do you know that if God didn't want you to have that car, you wouldn't have that car? Amen. That's my house. No, that's God's house. He gave it to you. Amen. That's my job. Well, you better be thinking God's the one that gave you your job. I don't even like my job. I wish he wouldn't have it. You better be thinking because you could be a bum on the side of the street. He gives you everything that you have. You better stop thinking you're entitled to everything. You better start thinking that you're entrusted with all those things. Listen, you're entrusted with the breath in your lungs, so you better pour it out to the one that gave it to you. Amen. You better listen, some of us can't even raise our hands, but I thank God that I can raise my hands because God has entrusted me to give him worship and give him praise. And he's given me new life. He's given me a new way to live. He's given me a new home. He's given me a new name. My labels don't define me anymore. I'm not the sinful woman the woman said. I'm not the one that's out here doing all this and all that. But God has given me a new thing in my life. He's doing a new thing in my life. And because of it, I am not entitled, but I entrust him with everything that I have. And so I can entrust him with my worship, with my passion. I give him to it. I give him everything that I have. Because he loved me, I can love him. Because he saved me. Because he created me. I can give him my praise. That's the worship team. Now come on. This morning, I don't know why. I might be too hard on y'all today. I just love people, and I want to let you know that God loves you. I love what Brother James said when he first got here. He said, God loves you, and we love you too. And at the time, I was young, and I thought, man, that's corny, but you know what? That's so true. Do you realize when you get older, you realize the things that you think are corny are not really that corny? Because it's so true. God loves you. So we're going to love you too. God has grace. God forgives every single one of you, no matter what you've done. So you know what? It's not my place to be bigger than God. It's not my place to be bigger than God. Tonight's going to be a very, very special service. I want you to come back tonight. I'm super excited about tonight. If you're wondering about who's preaching, I'm preaching. You get to hear me twice. But I want you to come back to be here tonight because I really believe God's got something that he wants to do. Because tonight's all about igniting a movement for God. But you can never ignite a movement for God if you never give it your life to God. The name of the sermon this morning is hashtag, because I love hashtag, worship with passion. How do we worship with passion? We realize that God, that there's a debt that we have. Every single one of you. Well, Bobby, I gave my life to God. Well, you still have a debt. Well, Bobby, I've been saved for 75 years. Well, praise God, you still have a debt. And I want you to realize, even though you have that debt to be paid, you can't do it. God's the only one that can do that. He's the only one that can pay that debt. But by his grace, that debt will be paid. reason why I say that, some of you right now want to come to this altar and you feel it in your toes. You got that look. Some of you right now, I know some of you are just grabbing the back of that pew or the side of that pew and you got the white knuckle. Some of you are trying to keep yourself down. But listen, the woman with sin said, listen, I'm going to go no matter what they say. Because you know what? They ain't the ones that's going to get me to heaven. Yeah, they might be my buddy and they might say I got issues, but praise be to God, they got issues too. I'm going to go get forgiveness for what I just said, because now I'm going to say it. But I'm asking you to come to the altar. Come give your lives to God. Come realize that He's got a debt that He wants to pay for. The greatest place to ever be is at the feet of Jesus. He died on a cross. Nails in His hands and in His feet. As the blood shed. I love it because I always wondered why they stretched out His hands, because He's telling you, I love you from the east to the west. My arms are so wide, I'm just ready. You come on in. Come on home. Come to Jesus. Let Him change your life. I'm going to ask you to stand as they begin to sing.